So pretty much everything I'm about to show you, I bought for the sake of comfort, because comfort is key, especially in those first few weeks after giving birth. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable, because you are amazing. So let's start with something we are definitely going to need, which is pads. So I bought big and I bought wrong, because these are ginormous. These ones are marketed as maternity pads. They're way too big, but I didn't know what I was doing at the time. So this one is roughly the size of the one that the hospital gave me, and you can see how big the maternity pads are. So this purple one this is the size that I needed. These ones never got used. I tried, they barely fit in my knickers. I couldn't walk with these in my knickers. It was ridiculous. So I ended up switching to these reusable ones. I ummed and ahed about it. I didn't know if I'd find them disgusting or not, but I'm so glad I bought them and would definitely use them again. They're just so comfortable. They easily fit in your knickers with these like little poppers, and they clean really easily, and they're just nice. They make you feel good in a time when things are really uncomfortable. So I would say go for reusable if you feel like you can. Something else I did do before I did that was fill up a little box with different size pads so that I could go from bigger to smaller whenever I felt like I needed to, and just change them in and out. And they were just all in the bathroom, so it was all really, really easy to go for and to grab. But if you can, reusable, do it. You know you're gonna love it. Then let's move on to knickers. So knickers, well, I was going to say your knickers you need, but you know, it's up to you. So obviously no one knows what's going to happen when you give birth, so I bought loads of big high-waisted knickers. These ones I bought from Bow Avenue, and they are seamless and they are so comfortable. The only downside is that on some of them, the seam, because it's kind of glued, the seam has come off and they've literally split apart, so I'm going to actually need to sew them back together. But these high-waisted seamless ones, they just felt so nice and so comfortable. The ones the hospital gave me were these ones, and these are tenner, I think, and they're extra large. I then bought myself what I thought was the same version, which came as these ones. Look how different the size is. The ones I bought were small, because most of the maternity stuff you buy in the size you originally wear. But if you have a look at these thigh holes, this is where my thigh's meant to go. Now this is my hand. How is my thigh meant to fit in this little gap? So I've literally had to wear them. That's as big as they stretch, like that's a hard stretch. And I've literally had to like cut up just so my thighs can get in a little bit bigger. So if you do buy these ones, go extra large, do it, because extra large is the way forward. Like these ones in extra large were so comfortable. With the knickers, I also bought myself a pack of disposable knickers. And can I even get into this? Hang on. The reviews on these weren't very good, but I bought them anyway because I thought, why not? I'll ignore all the reviews, but these ones were really rubbish. So these ones, they are just really tight in this top bit, but really baggy everywhere else. So I felt like I was like a mushroom being squeezed in at the waist, which is not what, like, you don't want to be squeezed anywhere, but squeezing in at the waist just wasn't a good idea. It didn't make me feel very good. And then this bit was just, there's just too much material on either side of it. So actual disposable knickers I would steer well clear of, and I would just either buy yourself some nice seamless, or not even necessarily seamless, but just buy yourself some nice high-waisted ones that you're going to use afterwards, or just go for the tenner ones because they are effectively seamless as well, but they're just very comfortable. But the disposable knickers, just dispose of them. Oh, just throw them away right now. So this one's a bit strange. This is something I already owned and was wearing before pregnancy and during pregnancy. So this is a back warmer, but you can get like waist belts and stuff like that. So this for me just gave my core a little bit more structure. I just felt like I was losing control of my core. It didn't feel normal. It didn't feel good to me. I just felt like I couldn't kind of move properly. I just felt like I was kind of losing control in the middle. So it was really nice to just pop something like this on. So if you already own something like this, then I would recommend it. If you don't own one, it's probably quite expensive for how long you're actually going to use it and benefit from it for. Like, I wear them all the time, but I would probably have only used them for the first 5 or 10 days after giving birth. So if you have one, wear it. You will appreciate it. So the next bit is for if you are breastfeeding. The best thing that I have bought and continue to use is a breastfeeding top, for like a pajama top for the night times. So I've got this. I mean, this colour might not be to your taste. I also have a black and grey, but this one is just really handy because you can just pull down one side, feed the baby, and then pull it back up. I didn't have anything to start with. I had to buy that kind of a little bit into it, but I was just using normal pajama tops and either lifting up one side or trying to pull the strap down. But I ended up getting like really twisted and tangled into it. I'm so glad I bought them because I'm so much more comfortable and I can sleep so much better. I'm not gonna lie to you, the first few nights you might be sweating like never before and leaking milk like you never thought possible. So it might be that you end up starting in a pajama top and by the end of it you're like, nope, there is no point wearing anything on the top half because you were just covered in milk and you were covered in sweat and you just want to shower. So when that's worn off, you might want to go for a little top like this. So these are disposable breast pads. Don't go near them. They are like tracing paper for your nipples. This is horrible. This is really, really horrible. I tried them for one day and I thought, why on earth would anyone make something like this that goes on a sensitive area like your nipples? You don't want this. Instead, go for something like this, which is a reusable one. These are much, much nicer. I was torn between whether I wear one on each side or one and then switch it and then switch it and then switch it. So I actually bought more, so I ended up buying 12 so I could just whack them in. But these disposable ones are just, it's like if you're trying to be mean to yourself, that's why you want a disposable one. So don't be mean to yourself, buy the reusable ones. These ones I don't use anymore, so baby is almost 4 months, which is insane, so I don't use these ones anymore, but I would leak consistently for the first 10 weeks, 12 weeks, something like that. My tops would just be constantly soaked, and I would just hear the baby scream, or I would just look at her and then just milk would come out, or I'd be feeding her on one side and milk would come out of the other side. It was just ridiculous. So these saved me a lot of leakage a lot of the time. So these ones were really, really useful for me. Like I said, I'm not using them now after 4 months, almost 4 months. So they might not be something that you use all the time, but for the first little bit, if you do find that you are leaking, these ones are really good. If you're not leaking, then you know, don't bother. So I'm editing this thinking how much of a fool I was because I thought I didn't need my breast pads anymore and didn't wear them to a wedding. Turned out I leaked everywhere on both sides. I just had massive wet patches. Everyone could see, so I had to slope off, go feed the baby, take the dress off, wash the dress off in the middle of the evening, dry it with a hairdryer, and then go back out there with my breast pads in. So I have learnt from that, and that was about when she was about 18 weeks old. So me saying that I didn't need them past however long it was, I take that back. The other thing I forgot to say is how much I'm wearing maternity bras. I'm wearing them all the time in the daytime, and I've yet to find any pretty ones. The ones I think are pretty, they arrive and I'm thinking, what on earth is this? But if you find any pretty ones, let me know because I'm still on the hunt. And then the other thing I did buy kind of instead of those, or as well as, are these breast shields. So they've got a little kind of pull out bit on the back here. So this is for if you're feeding on one side, then you are leaking on the other side. Yay! And you pop it on here, obviously underneath your top, and it collects milk, and then there's a little spout at the top there. You can just about see that, I think. There you go. There's a little spout there, so that at the end of it you can either pour the milk away or you can pour it and save it for another time. These ones for me were really, really useful. I was collecting quite a lot of milk. It kind of went up to about there on some of the feeds without even trying to collect anything. But then I got mastitis and then I couldn't use them because it was just too painful. So then I was on antibiotics for 10 days and I didn't use them for the 10 days because it was just too tender. And then after that point, I didn't really need them for the leaking anymore. So again, that would probably have lasted me for the first month or so. So this one would be 4 weeks of use. I could still use it now, but like I say, I don't leak as much. So this one isn't as useful as it was, but at the time, these two were very useful. So if you find yourself a day when you're thinking, I'm leaking so much, then you might want to consider this. But if you're not leaking at all, then don't bother because it's just going to be a waste of money. But these two, useful for the first however many weeks. So water bottles I found are really, really useful. Firstly, they fit much more water in than a normal glass for me, so I don't have to keep refilling it all the time. But the amount of times I'm stuck under a baby in a really awkward position that I can just about reach my water bottle and actually drink from. Or even if your water's over here but it's in a glass, it's really awkward sometimes to just try and pick it up and not spill it on yourself or the baby. So I've gone for water bottles, and I just know I always have water. So it sounds like a really weird thing to get, but find your water bottle because you'll probably have some somewhere in the house. So find that water bottle and go and get it. Okay, this last section is things that I kind of didn't use but I'm glad I bought. Actually, one of them I did use a lot. So the one thing that is actually before the baby is born that I really, really found useful, this Peri Your Bits. So this is a little oil that you use on your perineum to give yourself a little massage and have a little stretch, and hopefully you won't tear from it. That's the aim anyway for this little bad boy. But it's a funny one because if you tear, then it either didn't work for you or you would have torn more had you not done it. But if you don't tear, then you don't know whether it was actually this that helped you not tear. So it's kind of one of those ones where you don't actually know whether it actually worked. But for me, this one, let's just say I'd recommend it. It might not work for you. You do it at the time and you think, why am I doing this? This is the weirdest thing I'm doing. But, you know, I would recommend it. Okay, so there are a few bits that I bought that I didn't use, but I'm kind of glad I bought them, but also I didn't use them. So yeah, it's that kind of a section. So the first one is this spray bottle. It's got a little bit on the end, but I can't be bothered to put that on because it's a bit of a mish. So this spray bottle, you fill with water, and when you go for a wee, you give it a little squeeze, and then the water goes up, and it is to help you not sting when you go for a wee, basically. If you don't want to buy something like this, then you can use a jug of water or just keep yourself hydrated. Apparently that's going to not make it sting. My stitches were not on the outside, so I actually didn't benefit from that. I didn't use it, but I was prepared to use it because I wanted to do anything to not pee and burn. So the other thing I did buy was Spritz for Your Bits. And again, I didn't use this one. I probably should have, but I forgot about it at the time. There was a lot going on. So this one is meant to help clean, protect, and soothe. Smooth. That would have been really weird, soothe. So I didn't actually use this in the end. I asked the midwives to make me a padsicle, which they had. So if you had a maternity pad, but like a normal size one, not like a ginormous one, open it up, put it in the freezer, freeze it, get it out the freezer, and wet like a J cloth and wrap it round the pad. Put that in your knickers for about 5 minutes. Oh, you are going to thank me, because that, if you are swollen down there, that is the best thing in the world. It's so good. Just sitting on that 5 minutes. They're like the best, weirdest 5 minutes of your life. So I would highly recommend a padsicle. So I didn't use this Spritz for Your Bits, but I feel like that's kind of meant to help in the same kind of a way. I don't really know why I didn't. I did use this once. So this is called No Harm Nipple Balm. I don't know if that's going to focus on anything. This brand is really expensive, and it's one of those where if you used it, you'll be glad for spending the money, but if you don't use it, it's kind of like, why did I spend so much money? But instead of using this No Harm Nipple Balm, you can just use your own milk. I feel like I should have learned that before I bought this. So if you have milk that's coming out, or when it's come out, just rub it on your nipple, and then that just makes it feel so much better. It's just natural. It's already there. You don't have to go and get a bottle. It's already there. So I'm lucky that I didn't suffer too much. There were definitely painful days, and as I said before, I had mastitis, so there were painful times, but I used that. It kind of comes out like a weird, it's very thick. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it, so that wasn't the best. So I switched back to milk, and milk was the way forward. So they're the kind of things that I didn't really use, but I bought them. Yes. So of everything here, number 1, sensible sized maternity pads. Number 2, comfortable knickers. Number 3, something to give your core a little bit of form, just to make you feel like you're in control of your body. Number 4, if you are breastfeeding, shells and nipple pads if you want them, and some sort of top. And number 5, water bottle, because you're going to need it forever and a day. And then these optional extras of bottle for your bits, No Harm Nipple Balm, and Spritz for Your Bits. I think that would have been good if I'd actually used it, but before baby's here, peri your bits if you want to as well. Something I want to add to the list is for you, just something that is going to make you feel good when the baby is here, whether it's like something easy, like a box of chocolates that you know that you're definitely going to be able to eat, or whether it's something for the future, or whether it's like a puzzle that we hope that we have enough time to do. I mean, I'm just saying things that I like. Buy something for you that is going to make you feel good, because you know, it's good to be prepared with all of this baby stuff, but it's also nice to have something for you, so buy something for you. So they are all my top picks of things that I have used, but let me know in the comments below either something that you have used that I have not, that you think is really, really useful, or if you have anything that you're like, is this useful? Just let me know and I'll give you my opinion. It might be a wrong opinion, but I'll give you my opinion anyway. All right, I will see you for another video later.